Revolutionary greetings to all and sundry, my dear people of the southern Cameroons, my dear people of Ambazonia. Accept revolutionary greetings this day from me, Comrade John Ba Akuro. Today is the first day in the month of November 2021. I'd like to use this opportunity to say Happy New Month to everyone. And my people, I'm coming here today for us to talk about some very important issue, and this relates to the retreat of organized by the Coalition on Dialogue and Negotiations that just ended in Toronto, Canada today. And my people, I know there's been so much talk about this retreat, a lot of talk, but I think that we've all had the opportunity to, see some of the first press releases that are already out there. We've had the opportunity to get some little tidbits emerge from that conversation to recognize that this conversation was not about La République du Cameroon, but it was completely about the southern Cameroons, about Ambazonia, that it was an opportunity for the various stakeholders in the liberation struggle of the southern Cameroons to begin bonding together because members of the international community continue to condemn the disunity that is characterizing our movement. It's unfortunate we didn't have everybody on board. I mean, I was there as a simple invitee representing the consortium, and we had invitees that represented a lot of other stakeholder groups. There are some that were not there, but fortunately enough, the conclusion is that all has to be done to bring everybody on board so we keep talking. It was not a new platform or new movement or organization that was created. No, it's simply, like I said, a dialogue forum that we should begin to dialogue among ourselves so that we can easily, avoid the clashes that we find on social media, avoid the clashes that we find even in decision making, and make our position common so that each time any of our groups, movements, or organizations, or any stakeholder in this movement that meets anyone on the international community, it will be the same message that is being put across, that the people of the southern Cameroons have made up their minds that it is independence, absolute independence, or resistance forever. My people, this is the message that rang in the ears and in the minds of everyone that was in Toronto. Of course, you heard that there were people there who, have made clear often that they stand for federalism. But as could have been expected, those voices were drowned by the majority that stood for and continue to uphold the principles of self-determination that guide our drive to liberate the southern Cameroons and deliver independence to our people. During this 3 days of conversation, we revisited the results of the successive surveys that have been conducted in the southern Cameroons to consider this as a mandate given by the overwhelming majority of the people of the southern Cameroons for us to prosecute a liberation struggle to deliver independence and nothing short of independence. You definitely are going to have the chance to get resolutions that have been sent to the various stakeholder groups for discussions, for review, for toileting, and for cleanup. I beg your pardon, not toileting, for cleanup. And at the end of the day, I think in about 2 or 3 weeks, you have the final resolutions. But two key things stood out. And those two key things I'm going to share on this platform. So I'd like us to take a look at this. Take a look at this photograph. This photograph informs you that the noise you heard out there about possibly our people singing the national anthem of La République du Cameroun is not only false, but absolutely false, but serious lies descending straight from the pit of hell. You should be asking yourself questions whether it is possible for us to have a decor like this one, where you have the flag of the Southern Cameroons flying very high in this hall, where you have, I mean, the key stakeholders in our liberation movement sitting in this hall, and at the end of the day, they go singing the anthem of La République du Cameroun. Who absolutely is fooling who here? Come on, this is definitely not something that you should expect to happen. I know there are some newspaper reports too that have, frustrated people a lot because, as usual, there was so much manipulation, and I will come to that just very quickly. But first, take a look at the Post newspaper. You see, the Post newspaper says clearly here that Anglophone leaders, Amazonian actors, CSOs meet to build trust. Of course, this is exactly what happened. And you see the way they couched this. Clearly, when they talk of Anglophone leaders here, that was a reference to those people who have continued to talk about federalism. And of course, I think by the end of this retreat, they have understood that federalism has no place in the minds and hearts of at least 87% of the people of the Southern Cameroons, as evidenced by one of the surveys that we reviewed. And so it is clear from what you get as resolutions that we all understand that we have to deliver to the people of the Southern Cameroons what they want, which is independence and nothing short of independence. Yes, we had a lot of very hot exchanges, but these hot exchanges were simply designed to enable us get to, common ground, because we need common ground. I've been talking a lot on this platform about the need for us to build synergy, about the need for us to cooperate, the need for us to be talking to each other, because there is opportunity ahead, my people, and we have to get ready to take advantage of that opportunity. I just like us to listen to this were the opening statements from one of the ladies who is in the organization, one of the key stakeholders of the Coalition on Negotiation and Dialogue. This is Ms. Judith Wana. Just watch and listen to her.
As Dennis said, we worked hard because we needed you guys to talk. I'm not here to address the international community or CBN. I'm talking to you, the frontline leaders. It's got to stop. We have a cause. Yes, we do. Nobody denies that. But let's talk to each other. Let's talk to each other. Cannot talk to the rest of the world without talking to yourselves. You cannot, I'll repeat, you cannot talk to the rest of the world without talking to yourselves. It starts with us. Please, for those who did not come in here, this is just the start. It's the beginning. It's an ongoing train. It doesn't mean if you are not here today, you cannot jump on. And we're inviting those who did not come to please jump on. There will be other sessions. And for those who are here today, it's a moving train, and I'm daring you to jump off. Really, I'm daring you to jump off.
So you heard Ms. Judith Nwana very clearly. She used the opening ceremony to launch his fervent appeal on all the stakeholders to talk to each other. You heard her clearly. This is just a start. It's a moving train. For those who did not come in, effort will continue to be made to make sure we talk to each other. Despite all the insults, despite all the attacks, despite all the manipulations and the claims that we were Fumban too, despite all those kind of talks, no, 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 no. Sorry, we are not angry. I'm one of them who was present. I'm not angry. I'm not worried. We're all there. Comrade Cho Ayaba was there. Comrade Yerima, Comrade Agbo Prizo of the SCNC. I think, am I forgetting someone? In fact, we're just quite a good lot of us. Professor Carson Anyangwe was there. You were going to get a list of all of these people. We have representatives from the AMF, of Psalm 91, of 7 Qatar, of you can name the rest. My people of the TTA, they were all there. The objective, let us build synergy. Let us talk to one another. Forget all the talk that it was sponsored by the government of Cameroon, meant to sell the Southern Cameroons. I have said it here always, and I repeat, there is not a single soul or group of people that can sell the Southern Cameroons to anyone. The people of the Southern Cameroons, about 8 million of them, are not for sale. The people of the Southern Cameroons know what they want, and no one will dictate on the people of the Southern Cameroons what they want. No. We all know what we want. We know we want independence. We will not accept counterfeit. Please, always quote me that I have said, anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you will end up with less than you settled for. Therefore, if we settle for anything less than independence, like our forebears settled in 1961, we will end up with less than even that thing we settled for. In 1961, our forebears settled for a federal system. How did they end? They ended up being swallowed. In 2019, some of our folks went to Yaoundé, deceiving themselves that anything good can still come out of the Yaoundé regime. And they settled for some fictitious thing called special status. From 2019 until today, they themselves are still running after that government of Cameroon to define to them the content of that special status. Of course, they are not even having that special status that they settled for, which they do not even know. President Paul Biya continues to appoint divisional officers in our territory. He continues to appoint senior divisional officers. Of course, he maintains his governors. We have seen him even arm twist the so-called regional representatives appointed, in a pseudo manner by himself. Those people settled for that fabric, some fabric called special status, are today crying. They have just their eyes to cry because they don't even know if they are going to have 1,000 of what they settled for. That is exactly what the people of the Southern Cameroons cannot do. That is exactly what we cannot do. I have said on this platform, and I repeat, and I say it on my honor and on my name, John Ba Akuro. As far as I'm in this struggle, I will never stand for or support anything short of absolute independence for the people of the Southern Cameroons. Never. You ever hear that I'm sitting somewhere in a gathering and everything? Trust me, even if I'm reduced to a minority of one, I will fight for that independence to the last drop of my blood. I've done it before. I will do it again, over and over until we get there. And my people, trust me, the multitude of our people are for absolute independence. So nothing can overcome us. It is not a group of people sitting in a hall somewhere who will suddenly come out one morning and tell us that, forget, there's no more independence. Sorry. I know. The voices in the bushes are not inside there for pleasure. No. They are not dying for pleasure. No. They are dying for a purpose. Mamia P is waiting for the good news wherever she is. Baby Caroles, who went just yesterday, is waiting for the good news. General Mba Ivor is waiting for the good news. Amigo, waiting for the good news. Ayeka, all of them. Even Cross and Dale went just yesterday. He too will be waiting for the good news. All of them are waiting for the good news. And we have to deliver. Even if I also go before, take note, I will also be there waiting for the good news. Whoever remains, the last people that remain must deliver that good news, because we have to do it in this generation, not after this generation. And trust me, the retreat in Canada was all about this. My people, now take a look at this. You see, this paper has circulated very widely, and some people who hate our unity, some people who hate our guts, some people who hate to see us push this struggle forward, have used this as their capital. Everywhere on social media, oh, you see, even the person who couched this headline knew very clearly that he was doing a higher job from La République du Cameroun. Of course, it's not the first time. They have done it before. I remember at one point they even put my photograph on this paper on the cover page and announced that I had withdrawn from the struggle. Whereas I've been on this platform ever since it came into being. I've been in this movement from the time I was chased away from Cameroon until this day. I have not taken one day of hiatus. But yet this paper reported at one point, forgetting that people see me on this platform every other week, sometimes even 3-4 times a week, but they reported that I had withdrawn. It's the same thing that they did. Manipulated whatsoever they gathered from someone in Toronto and put up this header. My people, you will be surprised that this morning in Toronto, we called the organizers to explain to us exactly what happened. And it ended with a disclaimer, because a lot of what is in that Guardian post was total misrepresentation. Just listen to the disclaimer as presented in the hall.
The disclaimer regarding the Guardian Post article issue 2283, the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations, CDN, wants to clarify statements made by Dr. Denis Forestier made to the Guardian Post. In describing ongoing discussions at the leadership retreat, the article gave the impression that Dr. Forestier was relaying resolutions of the retreat rather than ongoing discussions. The formal statement from the retreat will be communicated when available. We hope this allays the concern of all Southern Cameroonians who are actively seeking ways to defend themselves and find a durable solution to the armed conflict. Denis Forestier.
My people, sure you listened to that disclaimer. I know the statement is going to be published in hard copy, and everyone will have the opportunity to see it. And I think the Guardian Post will be gentlemanly enough to carry that disclaimer, because a lot of the information relayed did not come from Dr. Forestier. A lot of the misleading information put out there was effectively meant to derail the thoughts and minds of our people to believe that we, one, were discussing about the suspension of ghost towns. Oh my goodness. That was going to be sacrilege. And number two, that was, I don't even want to get into the nitty-gritties of that, because as a matter of fact, we made clear, absolutely clear, my people, what we stand for. And therefore, no matter the degree of manipulation brought in out there, it wouldn't change what we stand for. I saw even some people publishing that this retreat was sponsored by the Prime Ministry of Cameroon through the office of Dr. Felix Mbayu. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is really interesting. Look, my brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, we have to learn to love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, we will not attain our objective. I've said here several times that don't mind. That is why even with some of the horrible things that Bo Herbert would issue out there against me, I will pick my phone and call him. I think even at the end of this broadcast, I'll be giving him a call. I will always do that, because I'll let you know this. I am not supposed to love somebody before working with him as long as the interest of the Southern Cameroons is concerned. I am supposed to work with that person because we are bound to work together to deliver to the people of the Southern Cameroons the freedom we all seek. That freedom is supreme. It's more than my personal feelings. It's more than what I think about somebody. It is more than Even if it is hatred, although I don't let hatred penetrate me, that I could have for somebody. The interest of the 8 million people of the Southern Cameroons is more important than all that. So at the end of the retreat, this is a statement issued from the consortium. Of course, there will be another statement that will be issued by the CDN, and there will be other statements from other sister organizations that attended. So this statement reads November 1, 2021. Press statement: the Southern Cameroon Civil Society Consortium informs the people of Southern Cameroons and the public that between October 30th to November 1, 2021, we participated at a retreat organized by the Coalition on Dialogue and Negotiation, CDN, in Toronto, Canada, meant to promote collaboration and synergy among the various stakeholders in the Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle. At the end of the heated deliberations, the participants or the parties settled on the following important points. One, that all the groups, movements, and organizations present committed to putting in place a framework agreement to foster collaboration and synergy in a way as to limit the current internecine disagreements and the bad blood among the stakeholders. Two, that we took notice of the ongoing initiative by the Swiss government to mediate a negotiation process between the Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroun, and recommended that the process be made inclusive by bringing on board other international parties for a multi-mediation process that promotes transparency and meets recognized international standards. That is the press release issued from the consortium. And as you get from this press release, our position has not changed from what it was since 2019. We are not rejecting the Swiss mediation. No. We are asking for the Swiss to open up and meet other international actors for a multi-mediation process, because we do not and will not trust the Swiss to be the lone mediators in this conflict between the people of the Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroun. This was a generally shared sentiment among all stakeholders present. And so, when the Swiss will do this, open up and let in other international actors, so this process becomes a multi-mediation, you can be rest assured that they will get our buy-in. That is the condition we put on the table. It's the same condition we put in 2019. So the frank debate that we had with a representative of the Swiss Foreign Ministry or the Swiss Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the discussions we had were frank, honest, direct. I want to congratulate all the stakeholders present, Southern Cameroonians who were present in Toronto. Oh, come on. I want to congratulate all of you. These are brave people who spoke their minds, called East, East, and called I, called Red, Red, called Green, Green, and called Blue, Blue. For 1 hour, this Swiss representative recognized that he had met real intellectual Southern Cameroonians determined to ensure that their people get the best. Nobody mitigated anything. Nobody held anything back. Everything was let out. In a very civil manner, we put the issues across. We also had to exchange with the Deputy High Commissioner of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to Yaoundé. We told him what we felt about the role of the United Kingdom with respect to what is ongoing, to the carnage being visited on our people, and also let him know that no one on the international community will bully us, that yes, we may be seen now almost as a stake, but we have a choice. And because we are working towards building this synergy that will make us stronger, that will make us solidify all the components of this struggle, that will make us give due attention to the particular area that is keeping this struggle alive. And you all understand what I'm talking about? When we do that, my people, we will begin to get the international community work with us as we want. We will only achieve this through synergy. And they too confirm that to us. If we make ourselves stakeholders, they will consider us as stakeholders. But if we make ourselves stakes, because on the international scene, you have two kinds of actors, stakes and stakeholders. If you are a stake, you are in the menu. If you are a stakeholder, you are on the discussion table. We cannot become stakeholders by being divided. We can only become stakeholders by working together, by synergizing, which is not synonymous to syncing our various movements into one. And so, again, for those who had the audacity to say this retreat was about a one Cameroon or was about federation, please, I invite you now to listen to Professor Fonkeng Achangakeng. You will be edified.
Not to West Cameroon, because that was already the beginning of the corruption. We are yearning to go back to Southern Cameroon. Unfortunately, most of all these young people do not know. I praise all of you, these front leaders, because you are fighting and dying and leading something you did not even know. I'm very thankful that the 60 years of the corruption has not completely taken away from us, like Biya said in Paris, that they tried to assimilate us and failed. We are very thankful for all of you who are fighting. I hear the generation, the now generation. I thank you all. Sometimes we will have to get back and even know what the Southern Cameroons was. Please do not forget, we were the first democratic country in Africa. Today, I live and teach at the University of Wisconsin. The United States is getting a big problem to change governments democratically and peacefully. We did that in 1959. That is what we should be standing on. A government organized peaceful, transparent elections, lost and handed over peacefully and democratically to the opponent in 1959. I would call on our friend from the international community to please know that we are a showcase of democracy in the world. I'm a little nervous when I saw a co-chair shed tears here. That's why I'm shaking. Because I look back at what is going on in our territory. And I get up in the morning and I hear all kinds of things going through social media, and I wonder why good things can be disabused. Collaboration, 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 collaboration. Niwana said that. How do we do it? How do we ensure that? I think that is why we are here. I'm going to be doing an opening libation, traditionally, praying you all of us, to please think about ways and means of achieving the kind of collaboration that was hinted upon and deliberated on yesterday, and so well reported this morning. I will, as I go to the door, invite us all to rise and bow to God Almighty and to our ancestors, to give each and every one of us the discernment to focus more on the 8 million people of Ambazonia rather than on ourselves. I am also going to suggest that when you work here, please A good suggestion should be that we decide to consider our language. The use of language like Northern Zone and Southern Zone should be discouraged. Northern Zone and Southern Zone are just a new name for Northwest, Southwest. Let us discourage that and use the names of the 13 counties. When in 1993 they put together the draft Federalist Constitution, that is where that advancement started. Please, I'm going to urge this group to consider the language we use. Similarly, before I move to the door, to meet these noble people standing there, let us not use, this is not a conference. When I was invited to come here, I was preparing something and I was told it's not a conference. Let us not use the word conference here. This is a retreat. A retreat is a lot different than a conference. Not to West Cameroon, because that was already the beginning of the corruption.
You have had the opportunity to listen to Professor Fonkem Achangakeng. And I don't know if I have to really add anything to this. Because you heard him. He was speaking here in Toronto, right at this retreat in Toronto, not somewhere else, talking about Southern Cameroons, talking about Ambazonia. You heard him very well. Even remind us at this conference, this has not been done anywhere else, of the need to start using to stop using the appellation Northern Zone, Southern Zone. Because as he said, and it is true, that it is still along the lines of the division created by the colonizer, La République du Cameroun, by making it called Northwest, Southwest. By saying Northern Zone, Southern Zone, we are almost like just switching other names to keep the same thing in place. Whereas the Southern Cameroons of old never was broken into Northern Zone and Southern Zone, or Northwest and Southwest. We have evolved from, maybe there were 6 or 7 counties, we have 13 counties. And so I agree with him. Let's refer to ourselves according to the 13 counties. We are not broken into any 2 geographical zones, no, or into any 2 administrative zones, no. We are one. This is the sound message you get out of Toronto. And so you discover for yourself that the entire cabal online, with people coming to say, oh, it was a Fumbantu, oh, it was a meeting put in place, sponsored by La République du Cameroun, to come and adopt one Cameroon, or to come adopt. Look, my people, we have to know that when we come out there each time to spew this kind of things, we end up losing credibility, because the truth never hides. But the good news that I have for all and sundry is that we should forget about all of that manipulation. We should forget about all of it. We should focus, concentrate on one key thing, that is uniting our forces, putting our heads together. Ignore all the insults, all the attacks and everything. It's a distraction. I said here before that beware of these French Cameroon activists. Because you see, they quickly picked a video of Bala talking at the Grand National Dialogue in Yaoundé in 2019 and attached it to a story and claimed that the retreat in Canada was sponsored by the government of Cameroon and Bala was there busy selling one and indivisible, and put that video. Fortunately enough, some vigilant Southern Cameroonians debunked it. Yet these are the people whose everyday swear information concordant from this side has said that their intention is to continue ripping us apart. We learned from the examples of other countries with delegations present at this retreat who told us their own experiences when they were facing situations like ours, also seeking their independence. They went through all this and it held them back. Reason they are coming to let us understand that the enemy who claims to cross carpets and is with us 98% of the time, they are coming in with a design to divide us, because the key weapon always used by the enemy is divide and rule. When they can't divide us, they know that they are in for trouble. When they succeed in dividing us, they know they weaken us. That is why they have infiltrators among us almost everywhere. That is why they will only count on our people to betray positions of their own boys and girls. I beg your pardon, I'm using Atanga Ponji in the bushes. This is a pitfall they advise us so strongly to avoid. Reason they ask us to do everything possible to ignore insults, to ignore personal attacks, to ignore even personal feelings, and make sure we build synergy, because that is our only weapon. The first and most important one. Because they say when we build synergy, we will harness our finances. And when we harness our finances, you know the consequence. You know what will be the result of this ability to harness our finances. So, my people, that is the message that comes out of Toronto. And our father, the Archbishop Emeritus of Bamenda, Cornelius H. Fontem, reiterated the message he has said even on the public media. He reminded us to know that generations upon generations of Southern Cameroonians still to come are counting on us. Shall we make or shall we mar? And to imagine that a man of this caliber who made the following statements I'm about to play now will be here in Toronto, and people have the imagination that it is to sell. Just watch again and listen.
I've tried to analyze the various options and the various opinions, And if you're asking my personal opinion to keep Cameroon one must be divisible. Because it's a cliche that Cameroon is one and indivisible, because it's not true. Culturally, we are divisible. Language-wise, we are divisible. The law-wise, we have inherited that. So anybody who says Cameroon is one and indivisible is a fallacy. And so we would have to handle that issue very squarely and objectively. And that's what I call the truth. The truth must prevail. There is no doubt that there are people of both sides, that cherish their heritage. And
that was Archbishop Emeritus Cornelius H. Fontem, and no one could say it better than what he just said. And this is a message he has reiterated over and over and over. His fatherly presence at this retreat was, should I say, it was invaluable. You could not give it value, because it was priceless. His presence was comforting, and it enabled our people to understand that when everyone comes out, including even people like this one, then yes, it is time for us to bury the hatchet. Yes, it is time for us to work together. Yes, it is time for us. I need some water. Yes, it is time for us to recognize that we should not settle for less than we deserve. Because if we do, we will end up with less than we settled for. Thank you very much, my people of the Southern Cameroons, for your kind attention. Enjoy the rest of your evening.